Hi, my name is Ted Murphy. I'm the founder and CEO of IZEA, and I am here at Pinterest headquarters in San Francisco with Aaron Rue, Business and Corporate Development at Pinterest. We have some really exciting news to share with you today. IZEA has become an official partner of Pinterest, and this is going to open up a whole slew of new opportunities for both marketers and creators in our platform. Aaron, I think that most people are familiar with Pinterest. I use Pinterest. The app is awesome, the website is awesome. But for those people that aren't as familiar with Pinterest, can you tell us a little bit about what makes Pinterest so unique?
Yeah, I think what makes Pinterest unique is that it's the place where people come to discover and do what they love. We get compared and lumped in with a lot of the social networks. Pinterest has a different vision. It's not a place where you come to discover the latest celebrity gossip or argue with your friends about politics. There's plenty of platforms that do that well already. For us, it's a place for you to come discover ideas and communities of people who are inspired by those ideas. It's really a place for you to connect with yourself. It's a place for you to look into hobbies that you want to do or look for vacation places you want to go. And it's ultimately a place for you to connect those digital ideas with do and action offline. People come to Pinterest with a pretty unique mindset. It's an action mindset where they're coming in and they're looking to explore, they're looking to create, and they're ultimately looking to do in a judgment-free zone. And I think that's what makes Pinterest special.
Yeah, I know that when I was looking to decorate my new house, Pinterest was the place that my wife and I went to together to kind of plan those things out. And I think that it's very unique in the landscape in that way.
I'm planning for a wedding myself, and it's a challenge to collect all of those ideas together, but Pinterest helps organize venue ideas and decorations and the tuxedo look that my fiance will ultimately, I'm sure, choose for me. But you know, it's a place to organize ideas, and then the thing I like most about it is 98% of Pinners actually say that they've tried a new idea because of Pinterest. And I think that's what we're looking to do, is connect, you know, your screen with actually going out and doing something.
Yeah, I know that so many people find inspiration on Pinterest, and I think that that's one of the things that has really fueled your growth. Can you talk to us a little bit about those numbers? Like, how big is Pinterest now?
Yeah, it's a great and timely question. We're super excited to announce this week we just crossed another big milestone, 250 million monthly active users. You know, we've grown a lot as a platform, but I think what's most shocking to me is the fact that out of our fastest growing demographic, it's actually men. So 50% year-over-year growth. 1 in 3 US men, dads, are now on the platform. 75% of US moms are on the platform. 2/3 of US millennials are on the platform. So it really creates this compelling opportunity for brands and influencers to reach the primary financial decision makers in households. So it's growing really quickly as a platform. We have international as our fastest growing segment as well. So a lot of opportunity both in the US and globally to reach this audience that's at a very unique stage in their consumer journey, on the way from inspiration, which is when people come to Pinterest, to actually shopping intent as well.
Yeah, I know that I've definitely found things on Pinterest, and that's led me to buy a product directly from that discovery process.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's not a unique situation. I think that's really what makes Pinterest so valuable for brands, is the fact that people are really coming to Pinterest at a time when they don't necessarily know what kind of sweater they want. Most searches on Pinterest are unbranded, so it's a time to reach people when they're thinking, hey, the weather's turning cold, I want a sweater, I'm not exactly sure which one I want. Let's come to Pinterest for inspiration. If you can reach a consumer there, I think it's much more valuable actually than when they've already made up their mind and you're just getting last click attribution.
So I know that many of our influencers in our network are using Pinterest as a way of promoting the content that they're creating. From your perspective, how are you seeing influencers use the platform to grow their audience outside of maybe their blog or another social channel where they're creating that content?
Yeah, influencers are the lifeblood of the platform. So I just want to thank all creators out there for making the content that makes Pinterest great. I think how influencers are leveraging Pinterest is a unique platform in that when you create good content on Pinterest, it reaches your followers, but it also reaches far beyond your followers. And that's because they're creating great, compelling content, which we then distribute out further. So it's really an interesting opportunity for influencers to build their audience and build their reach. I think the other thing that really sets Pinterest apart is the fact that content on Pinterest is evergreen. So if you look at how distribution on other platforms works, on Twitter, it's 17 minutes, the half-life of content. On Instagram, it's about half a day. On Pinterest, it's 4 months. So
that's a huge difference. That's a huge difference.
It's a big difference. And so the difference for influencers is when they post that content, you continue to see returns for months after you've posted it. And it's a way to really extend the shelf life of content and grow your audience over time. So I think the advice I would give is it's a slow and steady process in building out your audience on Pinterest, but once you've done it, you can almost think of it like an annuity that continues to pay off.
Yeah, and from a marketer's perspective, I think that's really important too, right? Is that it's not just about that immediate audience of that influencer, it's about this extended reach, it's about the slower decay rate of that content, right? Yeah. What should marketers know about Pinterest and how they should be thinking about that as part of their overall influencer marketing strategy?
Yeah, I can say that our sales team and the folks who work on the promoted pin side of the business are very excited about influencer marketing, because one of the biggest challenges that we faced is making good and compelling creative. And for marketers, that's a top concern for them. And so influencers can create both compelling creative, but they can also leverage their organic reach to help extend the life of a promoted pin campaign. So what we would recommend if you're working with influencers on promoted campaigns is actually create a number of different assets and work with a number of different influencers, test out what content is working best from an organic reach perspective, and then put promoted pin spend behind the best performing content.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the partnership between IZEA and Pinterest. We now have access to this new API that's been developed specifically for influencer marketing. It provides us with data that we didn't have access to before. Talk to me about what information we now have access to and what that will mean to the people in our platform.
So one of the biggest complaints from marketers is that it's very difficult to track the ROI of influencer marketing. And so we really designed this API in a way where third-party platforms like yours can provide this level of data to both help marketers discover influencers to work with on Pinterest and then track the success of those campaigns afterwards. So on the discovery front, we're opening up followers and also monthly views, which is the unique reach of an influencer on Pinterest, so that brands can find the most influential influencers to work with on Pinterest for their specific vertical. Once the brand has engaged with the influencer and the influencer has authorized IZEA to access their data, we'll actually provide stats that will enable campaign level tracking. So that's impressions, click-throughs, saves, close-ups, and basically a brand will be able to track both the high-level reach through the impressions metric, but also the engagement rate, which is incredibly important for marketers when they're thinking about ROI.
Yeah, I'm very excited about the content level data in particular, because I think that's going to open up a whole new set of tools to both marketers and creators as they're able to look at that and understand, what content is working for me? Where should I put a bigger investment in my time and with my resources as I look to expanding my influencer marketing campaigns?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to provide valuable insights for both the marketer, but also for the influencer in figuring out what kind of content works and what doesn't on Pinterest. And I think there's a level of insights that can be gleaned over time as you guys collect more data on seasonal trends and other guidance to provide to influencers as you see a lot of these campaigns and ultimately figure out, these are the best practices on Pinterest. And we're looking forward to sharing in those learnings and continuing to develop the ecosystem as well.
So this is all data that just wasn't available to us before, and I'm very excited to share that Pinterest is now available inside of IZEA X. So if you are a creator, you're now able to go to IZEA X through either the app or on the website, and you're able to connect your Pinterest account through OAuth. So you would go to the connections area, you would add Pinterest, and then it will bring you to the Pinterest website to put in your credentials so you can give us access to that data. For marketers, what this means is that you're going to be able to start to search through pinner information in our system through Unity Search. You're going to be able to drill into their profiles. You're going to be able to get the content that they've actually shared through Pinterest and the details around that. Aaron, super excited about this. If you had to tell creators 3 things that they should know about Pinterest and marketers 3 things they should know about Pinterest to be most successful as we move forward, what would those be?
Yeah, so I think on the creator front, we have actually 3 pieces of headline advice for people who are just starting out on Pinterest. The first is to claim your free business account. This gives you access to advanced analytics and also lets us know that you're coming to Pinterest to be discovered rather than for the primary use case of discovering content. The second thing we recommend doing is to claim your domain. So if you own a blog or an Instagram account or an Etsy store or a YouTube account, we recommend linking those to your Pinterest, and from there you'll actually see much greater distribution of content that comes from those sources because we now know you own this content and you're coming to distribute that on Pinterest. The last piece of advice we'd give is that you pin on a consistent basis. So if you pin on a weekly or daily basis, you'll actually see 4 to 5 times gains in terms of distribution. So those are the pieces of advice I'd give to a creator, and that should be a good foundation to get started. On the marketer side, there's a few pieces of advice I would give. The first is demonstrate to pinners how to use your product or service. Pinterest is a visual discovery engine, and visuals that demonstrate very clearly what pinners are doing with your product will actually help. The second is to showcase your logo somewhere. So branded content works really well on Pinterest. An example would be if you're a craft and you're working with influencer on developing a recipe for Pinterest, you want the pins to very clearly showcase your logo so that as people are scrolling through the feed, they see craft branded imagery. The last piece of advice I would give is to have a very clear call to action. For Pinterest, a way we measure engagement is through click-throughs and delivering traffic to sites. And so having some sort of call to action or reason for people to click through and ultimately connect, looping back to the idea of connecting digital with offline, having a way to connect people from inspiration to do is ultimately what we're looking for on Pinterest and serves both the marketer's goals as well as pinners.
Aaron, thank you so much for your time today. We are super excited to be partnering with Pinterest on this. And guys, we cannot wait to see what you do with this platform and how you start using Pinterest in all of your marketing efforts moving forward. Pinners, make sure that you go to IZEA and get your Pinterest account connected to IZEA X today so that marketers can start engaging you and finding you on the platform.